Hey, what's up, and welcome back to another episode of the Relationship Schools Smart Couple Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Gaddis. What's up? And I'm here to assert that relationship fulfillment comes with hard work. That's what this podcast is really about. And so we interview couples sometimes, relationship experts. I just talk. And I bring on my wife occasionally, and we try to help you have more fulfilling long-term partnership. That's our jam, right? And this is really for growth development-oriented people, not people who want Band-Aids. Let me be clear. Band-Aids are, you're in relationship pain, you just want it to go away and quick fix, and we had a therapy session or something, or I read a blog post and I got some dopamine, and then all of a sudden I didn't think about my pain anymore. That's kind of not what we're up to, guys. This is more like, hey, did you know that it takes hard work to have an awesome relationship, just like anything in life? An awesome business, an awesome body, an awesome health, awesome financial resources. It takes effort. So that's why we tell you, hey, it's a good idea to be into growth and development. Because if you're into growth and development, then you're the kind of person who's willing to work on it. So thanks. Today I want to jam about wedding vows. Thanks, Casey, for the suggestion. Casey from now Philly, kind of Michigan, kind of Alabama. Anyway, thanks, dude. So I just Googled wedding vows just for fun. And the first entry that came up was kind of like how to write wedding vows and samples. And you think, oh, that's pretty cute. Let's check that out, honey. So you and your fiance read some articles on wedding vows. And here's what was interesting about the article is it said traditional wedding vows. And then it basically says, okay, hey, Susie, do you take John to be your lawful wedded wife or husband? I guess husband in this case. Do you promise to love and cherish him in sickness and in health, for richer, for poorer, for better, worse, and forsaking all others, keep yourself only for him, so long as you both shall live? And then the person says, I do. Okay, that's I guess a traditional wedding vow, and that makes sense to me. I've heard that many times at weddings I've gone to. And then below that, here's the crazy shit. It says personalized wedding vows. And I'm like, what? People actually make wedding vows that are not personal? How in the hell does that go down? Yes, I'm judging you if that's you. So personalized wedding vows, guys, is the only way to fly. Why? Because here's the thing. If you make your wedding vows based on an outdated model of marriage, i.e. some tradition, that was set up a long time ago that kind of doesn't make sense now, you're going to be up shit creek. So personalized wedding vows, however, account for who you actually are today, what kind of modern culture you're living in, what kind of arrangement you guys have, if you're living together, if you're not, if you want to join finances or not, what your values are. Hopefully, please, I implore you, folks, to create your own wedding vows. And if you did the for richer, for poorer, and sickness and health thing, consider tossing those in the trash can or burning them with a blowtorch and starting over. Honey, let's have a date. It's our anniversary. Let's rewrite our vows. Let's do that. Personalize wedding vows, please. Because if you don't, you're subordinating to an outdated institution and someone else's words of what they think you should say and do in your marriage. That's a recipe for failure. So, I don't need to repeat myself, do I? I just did. Okay, so Ellen and I, we just had an anniversary. In fact, today is our anniversary. 11 years, guys. 11 years. This coming from a guy who said, no thank you to marriage and no thank you to kids. I was like, fuck no, I don't want to do that. And here I am, a married man and a father many years later. And I'm in love with my family. I'm in love with my wife. I'm in love with my kids. And they continually teach me how to be a better human and father and husband and man. And I'm just grateful that I somehow turned that sinking ship around and was like, dude, marry this woman. Like, what are you thinking? Yeah, it's a long story. Some of you have heard it. So anyway, Ellen and I, a couple of years ago, so we were just teaching at the Deep Psychology of Intimate Relationships, our opening weekend. It was so incredible. We had 50 people from around the world. And we were up there in front of the room teaching about attachment, teaching about neuroscience and our nervous systems and what happens when we get activated and what your attachment styles are and all this cool stuff. And at some point we were talking about vows. I can't remember how it came to be. And I was like, oh yeah. She was like, yeah, remember honey, we rewrote those a couple years ago. And I was like, no, that was last year. And she was like, no, that was 2 years ago. And I was like, no, that was last year. And this is in front of the room, like everybody's laughing because neither of us are remembering what actually went down. I think she in the end was more correct. So later just the other day, we went walking and talked about this and reviewed like, yeah, when did we do that? So anyway, what we came to that we got a shared reality around, which by the way is a tool we teach in the relationship school, is getting a shared reality. You want to get a shared reality about your vows, okay? So we got on a shared reality around basically being on the same page about what the memory was. A couple years ago, we rewrote them. We went to a cabin in the woods and we rewrote them. And it was very enlightening and emotional and awesome. And then last year, a year later, we checked in and said, how are we doing? Which was really also really powerful. And gave each other feedback. And tonight, after the kids go down, we're going to do the same. Check in at least once a year, right, on our vows. Now, vows can be agreements, and they can be different. My son today asked, what is a vow? Is a vow. And a vow is a solemn promise. I just Googled that. A solemn promise. And I just told him, I was like, dude, it's like an agreement you make. You say, hey, I'm going to love you a lot. And I'm going to challenge you and support you. And he said, Dad, why would you challenge mom? I thought that was so cute. I was like, because I want her to grow. And I want to be challenged by her because I want to grow. And he said, oh. So challenge is definitely part of our agreements and vows now. So I'm not going to go into detail about my vows, our vows. Suffice to say, I want you to step up to the plate, rewrite yours, renew them, review them. Okay? Let's do that in reverse order. Review them, rewrite them, renew them. Or you could do whatever order works for you. The 3 R's of wedding vows. That'd be a cool title. And make them count. This is the person you're going to bed with every night, waking up with every day, possibly joining finances with, mortgage, children, dogs, cats, fish, lizards, snakes, whatever pets you have, like if you don't have kids, just you're joining forces and you're basically saying yes to their family and their family of origin that's living inside of the other person, as well as when you go to their house for the holidays or summer vacation. You're saying yes to all of that, folks. So you want your vows to be like solid. And I just want to give you an example of a solid vow. I vow to help you grow constantly. That's one. Or you could say, I vow to be receptive to the ways in which you challenge me. And I won't turn my back on those challenges. I will face them so that I can learn to love you more openly and more courageously, right? You want your vows to be things like that. I mean, again, if you're me, if you're into growth and development, if you don't want to do that and you want to let other people write your vows for you, be my guest. But that's like going into a business partnership without a contract that says, hey, what are you responsible for? What am I responsible for? And what happens if we go bankrupt? What happens if a third partner comes in? What happens if we want to do equity sharing? What happens if, like those are what business partnerships are for. And a marriage, like it or not, is a partnership. It's like a business partnership, because now especially if you have a house or kids and shared finances, it becomes very much like there's a lot of logistical things going on there. So yeah, make them count, folks. All right. And I encourage you to review, rewrite, and renew your vows. And our vows are not like this happily ever after thing, which feels like a fantasy to me. It feels like, I remember years ago when we first wrote our vows, we actually wrote them out in nature, deep into the woods. And we both did them separately, and then we came together and shared them. And it was extremely powerful. So I'd love to hear your wedding vows. If you are open to sharing, let's say there's 10, share 2 of them in the show notes or with us privately, info@relationshipschool.net. And it would be really cool for you to share them in the Smart Couple Facebook group where a lot of our shares go down, okay? If you're not in that group, just go to your Facebook search bar and just type in Smart Couple group, ask to join, you'll answer 3 questions, jump in there, okay? Yeah. Wedding vows. Okay, at some point, Ellen will come on here if we want to take a deeper dive, if you guys want that, and we can maybe share a couple of ours or a little more backstory, but I didn't want to do that without her present. Okay, so happy anniversary to us, to you, Ellen. Thank you so much. I love the living daylights out of you. And happy anniversary to the Smart Couple podcast, which is in our 3rd year now. We just passed our 3rd year anniversary in August. So thanks again, listeners, people like you who want to do this with us. All right. Thanks, everybody. Talk soon.